And I'm starting to go through that experience of what people often talk about when they say that COVID has, split families right down the middle.
Right.
I'm living that right now.
Welcome back to another episode. It's the Unframe of Mind show. I mean, you've heard the intro many times. We're going to have uncomfortable conversations, and we're going to do it without a condom. We don't like
or
them.
Vaccination shot.
Or vaccination shots. No protection. We're just going in here, balls to the wall, no shields, condoms, no protection, nothing. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner.
Anthony Trewick.
And Anthony had a little something that was weighing heavy on his heart today. So he came to the studio. He actually took like a 45-minute trip out to my house just for this conversation. We had literally no other reason to be here. I'm just kidding. So smash the like button, share it with your friends, tell people about our show. Anthony.
Yeah.
What's on your mind, buddy?
So this is going to be kind of a serious conversation, which is something that, we tend to have on this show from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as everybody is aware, vaccinated, unvaccinated, there seems to be a rift between the two. I guess you call it, cultural divide.
Yes.
I don't know. So on a serious note, so recently I've got a family member of mine who is currently fighting for his life because of COVID. Now, I am not going to disclose any family members' names, not going to disclose whether he was vaccinated or not.
Excellent.
I don't think that's important.
Right.
But what is important is the behind the scenes. When you have death knocking on your front door in your family, you often hear people comment, on social media, well, you don't know what it's like until you've had somebody pass away from COVID. I'm starting to understand that message that you often hear from people, but I don't agree with it. And I'll tell you why. It's because every individual has that right, has that God-given right to do what they want with their body. Okay?
Yep.
I am a firm believer that if you decide to get the vaccination, that is awesome. Do what you want to do. I've never been anti-vaccine at all in my entire life.
Right. Same here.
I also support people who decide not to get the vaccination. That's your right. You can do that. That's okay.
Yeah, you're not going to go lambaste people. Oh, you idiot, you got the vaccine. You're not going to sit there and try to pass legislation to, shut them out of society or anything like that.
Right.
You just all about independence and freedom and,
You hear the argument that you hear it all the time. You hear people talk about how if you don't get vaccinated, you don't care about your kids, you don't care about your neighbors, you don't care about your family.
You don't love grandma.
You don't love grandma, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Okay, so let's kind of reevaluate this, because something that I've learned through my personal experience that I'm currently going through right now with my own family, this is going to be a bit of a shot to the stomach for my family who does see this, or my friends, because it applies to friends as well. When I had COVID back in the later part of December, just before Christmas, those individuals that are now coming to me, pleading with me to get vaccinated because I have a family member that's knocking on death's door at the moment. Where were you when I had COVID? Where were you when I had double pneumonia? But because I listened to my body, I caught it early on, and I'm not in a situation that my cousin's currently in.
Yeah.
You didn't call. You didn't pick up the phone and say, hey, how you doing? But now all of a sudden, because death is knocking on our door, you feel like it's an obligation because you have now realized how serious this is, whether he was vaccinated or not, for you to reach out to me. And the only reasons why you're reaching out to me is because I'm not vaccinated.
So you're talking about almost like this social brownie points kind of thing, this virtue signaling. Like, I need to just make sure my conscience is clear. I tried to talk him into getting the vaccine, but he wouldn't listen. Is that kind of the attitude you're getting?
Yeah, this is the attitude that I'm getting, and this is one of the reasons why I have a problem with this whole division amongst our culture, but also just within our own personal group of friends and family.
Right.
I understand we all live our lives. We all have things that we must do and places we must go. But here's the thing, though, is that certain people, whether it's friends or family, don't care enough to pick up the phone. Not once. Now, this is not talking in general of every single family member and every single person that I'm friends with. There's just this section of group of people that do exist within my personal life that don't feel like the need to pick up the phone when it only takes all of 5 minutes at best just say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, it's not like you're unreachable. It's not like you're not able to be contacted.
What I'm getting is that I have to be in the same situation that my cousin is currently in right now, fighting for his life, in order to get some kind of reaction from my family.
Yeah.
I never hear from them. They never pick up the phone to call me. They don't text me. You know who does all that? I do. You know who makes all the trips to go see family and friends? I do.
Yeah, it's the point, man. Like, why continue to put the energy into it if you're not going to get it, in return,
This to me has gone beyond the political spectrum of why people are so divided. This has now turned personal for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting to go through that experience of what people often talk about when they say that, the unvaccinated and vaccinated and COVID has, split families right down the middle.
Right.
I'm living that right now.
So how is that manifesting exactly? Like, what's that looking like from your perspective?
For me, it's opening my eyes to the fact that I'm starting to question everything when it comes to my family, when it comes to my friends.
Yeah.
Are people just not wanting to be around me? Have they ever wanted to be around me? Because I don't ever hear from you. You don't ever call. You don't ever text. And then I get the excuse, well, I'm busy and I am too.
Yeah, who the fuck ain't?
We're all busy.
Yeah.
But I've always made it a point to go down. Like I have serious, and I've never wanted to use this against anybody, but I feel like now is a good time to bring this up. I have always made the effort to reach out to them, to friends and family, and to go see them on a consistent basis, because I feel that's important to me, that you must take time out of your life to enjoy loved ones because of situations like this. When I've gone out to visit my family and in the state that they live in, where my cousin is currently from, I have made it a point over the last 10 years to visit them every other year. Mm-hmm. I have not missed a trip in the last 10 years. I've been out there 5 times.
And what would happen if you did?
Well, I guess I'm not that kind of person. Like, I mean, I still make that effort because I feel that a sense of family, a communal sense of being together is a strong bond that we all create over time. Mm-hmm. And as long as we have that, when we go through situations like this, it makes us better for it. But we all go through the hardships and the struggles together. We cry together. We hug together. We laugh together. But when you don't have that relationship, you don't know how to laugh. You don't know how to cry together. You don't know how to process things because it doesn't affect you the way that it does when you become close. Now, This is also one of the reasons why I distance myself from a lot of people, is because I feel as if I put all the energy in, but nothing is reciprocated in return.
Yeah, just
like I constantly keep doing this.
Yeah.
But then I get messages and I get phone calls from family that have the audacity to tell me that I don't care about my daughter, when I don't care about my other family, when I don't care about my other friends because I choose not to get vaccinated. It's like, throughout my life, you have never checked on me to see how I've been doing, regardless of shit that I've gone through. Now, all of a sudden, you feel that it's important because you're taking a hard look at your life in reality because of what's currently going on. Mm-hmm. And you're having a sombering moment to say, oh shit, I need to start having a relationship with my family because I'm getting older now and this could happen to me and this.
At that point, it reminds me of a lot of the conversations we have where we're talking about people need to, in case the shit hits the fan, you need to be prepared. Like, just some basic preparedness. I'm making a point here, but basically the basic preparedness, the stocking up on your household goods, connecting with the people around you, making sure you know your neighbors, making sure taking that time and energy to do that. So that way, when shit hits the fan, you kind of know what to do, how to handle it, who to talk to, who's going to be on your side, who's going to love you, who actually has been there.
Yeah.
Same thing with your family. It's like what I'm hearing is they're waiting until like the shit has already hit the fan before going, oh shit, I probably should have built a relationship with this guy years ago. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm going to do it now. Like, dude, it's probably too late by now.
You know what the sad part is? If I haven't made the effort to reach out to friends, to plan things, get-togethers, to travel to see family, mm-hmm. none of these relationships would exist to this day. That's the sad part.
Yeah.
It's sad to even think that way. but it's the reality.
Now, hear me out. While you are justifiably upset with the way they have behaved, or rather haven't behaved, what you do have control over is your ability to connect with, or your role in this.
Right.
Basically, I think you know where I'm going to go with this.
I know you will.
If you're going to expend all this energy into people who aren't going to return it,
right?
Why keep doing that? That's long term not a plan for success for your own mental health. Right. I think part of you realizes what the relationship with those people actually is, and if you were to let that go, it would just make that much more real. That's just my theory on it. I don't know. Maybe they do. No. Maybe they do like seeing you, but not enough that they're willing to put extra effort and energy into making that happen.
But here's the thing, though, Daniel, is that when you go through a situation like this, you start to you have this thing kind of creep into your mind of, have these people ever really wanted me around?
Yeah.
Have they ever really wanted to spend time with me, or do they feel like it's an obligation because I'm considered quote unquote family?
Yep. And that's what you're kind of doing too. You feel like it's their family. I'm almost obligated to see them. There's a familiar bond. It's family. You're supposed to see family. That's kind of this common societal message that we all get, and I get it.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's like I don't know how strong does it have to be, or how much effort is worth putting into these relationships when it's just draining you. Like it's just you doing it all. Like I'm just. Basically, it's a one-sided relationship at that point.
Well, and what I've kind of hated throughout this whole process with my cousin is the fact that, it's I have tried so hard to keep the political and to keep the bullshit out of the frame.
Yeah.
This needs to be about him getting better and surviving this. But then it turns into, I've been getting this a lot here lately, is, the first thing they ask is he vaccinated? I am not going to tell you if he is or not, for you to further your political or your propaganda gain from this, to say, well, I know somebody that has a cousin who's going through COVID. He wasn't vaccinated. Look what's happening to him now.
To play devil's advocate too, there might be some people, I don't know if this is the case or not, just a thought that came to mind is that there might be some, like I would be interested to know if he's vaccinated because, I'm hearing a lot of stories about the vaccine working, not working, adverse health effects, so it kind of helps to kind of plug those little pieces of data into your overall reality matrix,
right? To
try to determine, like, maybe you're on the fence about getting the vaccine. I know it's crossed my mind. Like, I don't know.
It's crossed mine.
You try to absorb as much information as you can and then make a determination. If you're seeing a bunch of family around you dropping like flies and none of them are taking the vaccine, or, the majority of them aren't,
right? That
might sway you to actually decide to go ahead and get it. Again, I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's why they're asking, but that's just something that crossed my mind.
And part of the reasons why I understand where you're coming from, playing devil's advocate, but on the other side of this, and this is what I often tell people, COVID affects everybody differently. Yeah. Just because my cousins had it, I've had it too.
Yeah.
My body reacted differently than the way his reacted.
Yeah, same
He's
here.
obviously fighting for his life because of him having COVID. Now, the same thing goes with getting vaccinated. I don't know what that would have done to his body. Don't know what it would do to my body if I do get vaccinated. Yeah. It's not to say that I'm going to die from getting the vax. I'm not saying that.
That's a conversation with your doctor, really. I mean,
yeah. And here's the thing: is that the government should never gotten involved.
Yeah.
When it came to this whole situation.
That screwed everything up.
Yes, very much. It's created so many problems with government overreach. This should have been left to the medical professionals.
Yeah, just
bottom line.
Slammed a big ass lead foot of doubt on everything.
Right.
Like it's that's all that happened. Like,
here is the okay. Here's the thing for me, and a lot of people ask me, why are there so many people who are not getting vaccinated?
Yeah.
Simple. People don't trust Tony Fauci and the government. When the government
or the media is pushing it.
When the media and when the government and Tony Fauci have lied to the American people for decades.
Yeah. This wasn't just over this issue.
Why do you want me to believe what they're telling? You have a vaccine that was pushed. Now, it went through clinical trials. I understand that. But there's not enough data to support the long-term effects of what these vaccines can do to your human body.
Right.
You just don't know.
And I'm learning a lot more since a couple events I went to. I'm learning a lot.
To me, this has never been a political issue for me as far as why I'm not getting vaccinated. Trust me, I've done my homework here. It's always been science, first and foremost. It's given me the ability to understand that there are two different types of people in our society. Well, there's so many different types, but the two that stand out the most is that you have a society that is sitting back, paying attention, listening, wondering what's going on. Then you have another society that is totally freaked the fuck out. They don't know what to do, and all of a sudden they say, "Hey, we got a vaccine for you. You need to take this." Boom! Everybody's getting injected.
Yeah.
Nobody has taken the time because you're only getting the results off of a vaccine that's maybe got a year and a half worth of data behind it.
Yeah, and a lot of people I got in this discussion with on Unsafe Space recently, where people they're not rational. They're more like justification machines. They will make a decision on something, usually out of fear, some kind of other force that's pushing them in one direction or another, and then they'll spend the rest of their time justifying their actions. They'll spend the rest of the time going, "Well, I got it, and here's the reason why." When in reality, what it was is they got it and then made up reasons why, right? Mm. So I completely lost where you were at. I apologize, but that's just what came into my mind.
I seriously.
Sorry. I remember earlier on when everybody was getting it right off the bat. I would imagine 90%. I'm just making up numbers, but 90% of the decision process was based in fear.
Right.
And then the more information that comes out, maybe you have people that are like 50% out of fear, and the rest of it's out of doing research.
Right.
And I wonder how much of that's been going on and setting people up where they're on one side of a team now, where they've committed, they've got the vaccine, they've got the shot, now they've ex post facto justified everything they've done, and now they need you to get it too, because then that validates their decision to have gotten it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't get it, that makes them look like maybe they were wrong, and that people can't handle that.
You know, I contemplate. I kind of went back and forth on wanting to do this video because of the current situation my family's going through. Because obviously, I don't want my aunt to see this and then get very upset by it. Mm-hmm. But then on the other hand, too, is she needs to understand that, I love her to death. She's not my issue.
Yeah,
she's never been my issue. I love my aunt to death more than anything. I've spent more time with her than I have most of my family because I've spent so many times going out to see them. And she knows my position on this.
Yeah.
She's aware of it. She doesn't have to agree with it, but not once has she come to me and said, "Please get vaccinated."
Yeah. She supports your
She
decision.
supports my decision.
Doesn't treat you differently as a result.
Now, here's the thing, though, is I did not want to take what is going on with my cousin and turn this into a fiasco because I so wanted to avoid this, but it's like when people start knocking on my door and want to preach getting vaccinated and wanted to, reach out to me now because of currently where our family's at and what we're going through. The one thing I told my aunt is that for the last 10 years, every other year, I've made an effort to go out there and see them. Mm-hmm. I have no regrets. If the alternative to what my cousin is going through, if he ends up passing away because of COVID, I am glad that I took the time out of my life over the last decade to go out there, spend time with them, see them, grow that bond, that relationship. I will be forever eternally grateful for that. But I often wondered if I didn't think that way or if I didn't have that sense of family value behind my thought process, mm-hmm. I wonder how I would react to this. Like what would be my position on the whole situation? Would it have changed?
Right. Like, would you be the person just now calling out and reaching out?
And see, I've never been that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I've cut a lot of people out of my life recently that don't reciprocate. I mean, I've spent years of my life, dude, just contacting people and making an effort to go see them. And I really have started to doubt a lot of the sincere wanting to spend time with me. Is it because you don't like me or you don't want to spend time with me, so you don't know how to tell me or you're afraid to say something? I'm very vocal.
Honestly, I don't even know if it's that. I think it's honestly, it might be. I don't even know why I'm saying honestly. I don't. It might just be they just don't think about it. Like you're a character in their lives. But
I'm starting to question whether or not I'm a good person.
I don't know if it's because they don't. I don't think it's because they negatively don't like you or wouldn't want you around. You might see a little bit different reaction. They're probably happy to see you when you are around. But what's missing for me in this equation is their energy put toward proactively engaging in the relationship.
But what's funny is people act like I don't have a life, like I don't have a family, I don't have a child. And they're always coming back telling me, well, it's easier for you. Actually, no, it's not. It's more difficult for me.
Yeah, because of the co-parenting situation, right?
Well, co-parenting, but then you also have to consider time off from work. Right. And then you also have to consider, a lot of the times I'm mandatory to work. So if I'm mandatory, that eats into my overtime, or not my overtime, but my hours work that I have to take off for vacation.
Right.
Plus it's the cost of travel. Plus it's, food and lodging, whatever else. There's a lot that goes into this.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I don't ever bring that up. I've never once in my entire life have ever made anybody feel bad for this, because that's not what's important. But now I'm at a point in my life where, hold up a second. Why don't you come see me? Why don't you come out? When am I going to see you again? When are you going to bring Kelly out here? And I'm like, hold up. What's stopping you?
Yeah. Yeah, right.
My life, I guarantee you, is 10 times busier than yours. Just because I don't tell you what's going on in my daily life on the daily, it doesn't mean, a lot of people probably have this idea that I'm just sitting around twiddling my thumbs. That's not the case. I'm a very busy guy. I mean, it's just...
So what
I can rant all day long, but it's not going to do anything.
No,
people aren't going to hear this.
What I'm hearing is, it's like you said, you didn't really want to make it about politicizing COVID or anything like that, because that's not even what this conversation's about. What I'm hearing is, why do people wait for disasters to happen before making a move? Like, why the fuck do we wait until the shit has hit the fan, chaos is going on? Oh my God, we might actually lose something. There might be something in the calculus of this family this overall network of people that's going to change. And now's the time we want to get up and start going and stocking up on the food and checking our flashlights batteries. And when by then it's too late. Like the floodwaters are already in your house.
Yeah.
Like it's too late. Like, what are you doing? Why are we waiting to the last damn minute?
And I've been guilty of this before. I mean, let's actually have an honest conversation. I've been guilty of not reaching out to people. Mm-hmm. I can't sit here and have this kind of conversation without actually holding myself accountable to some sense. But majority of the time, I am the one making the effort to make the plans, to make the trips. And probably over the last year, I've cut way back on that with certain friends, mm-hmm. and even with some family. And
have any of them even noticed?
No.
So there's your answer.
It's sad.
It hurts.
It's not that it hurts. It's just. It's not that it hurts. It's just. You just really kind of reevaluate life, but then that energy that I once spent in those individuals have now been redirected to my daughter.
Yeah.
More than anybody else.
Yep.
And it's not to say that I never had that, the intention or that focus ever directed on her. It's just, she loves me. She wants to see me. She tells me she wants to see me. Right. She reaches out, Dad, I miss you. And I can't remember the last time.
Plus, you kind of owe her.
I can't remember the last time I've heard, other than my dad, I cannot remember the last time I've had any family that said they miss me.
I miss you, Anthony.
You're not family.
I miss you, buddy.
Well, you're close enough. But yeah.
Literally like a few feet from you.
It's truly remarkable, and you're right. It's just it takes a disaster. It takes a very unfortunate situation for people to register. And you know what's sad about this is they kind of go through this small window of, oh my God, I need to reach out to them. Oh my God, I could lose them. But then after about a month or two, and things kind of calm down, you go back to not hearing from them.
Kind of like 9/11. We were all patriotic as hell for about a month, and then all the flags went away.
I don't get it, dude. There's no consistency within our general behavior and character anymore. Yeah. There's none. And that's where I actually take pride in the fact that I am consistent with that behavior. I always make it a point to see them, to text them. And even if I don't get it, if I call them just out of the blue, which I do a lot, and I don't get an answer, I'll text them and say, hey, just thinking about you.
Yeah.
I don't get that at all, dude. It's like, I'm tired of it. So
I totally get it. No, this is an important topic. I think a lot of people will relate, and especially as we've seen a lot of this sickness has been going around
Right.
and affecting people's lives and has been dividing people. And it's like, you know, like you said, once you start losing somebody, now we want to call. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I hate that you're going through that. I really hope your cousin continues to get better and improve.
Last I heard, he was doing a little bit better. It's just a long road. I mean, there's really no way of knowing how this is going to turn out for him, you know. And what's interesting about his situation, he's a lot healthier than I am.
Yeah.
He's in better shape. He never smoked, never drank, never did drugs. By all means, someone like me who was a former smoker, who is overweight, who I should have been in his position, but I'm not. But there again, it shows you COVID does not discriminate. It doesn't care if I'm a smoker, if I'm overweight. It doesn't care if he's healthy or not. It affects everybody differently. You cannot generalize or put me in the same category as everybody else because my body is going to react differently than yours.
Yeah, well, I think I got lucky because all I got was a couple days of fatigue and lost a sense of smell for a while. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, I was okay up until the second week after I had COVID, and then I noticed that my breathing apparatus really changed, and I knew something was wrong, and I got a hold of a doctor, and I said, look, I think I've got pneumonia, and sure enough, I listened to my body. People are not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, don't wait until the last minute. If you feel some kind of change or even just a little bit of shortness of breath, go get checked.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Yeah, interestingly, I've been around my family. They recently had it, like 3 or 4 of them had it, or whatever. Or they had some symptoms and whatnot. I've been around them, hugging on them, interacting with them. Nothing. I don't know if that's because I built up antibodies and I am now immune to it. Basically, like getting the shot. I don't know. I'm not giving medical advice. Go talk to your doctor if that's what you want to do. But it's something interesting that I noticed, that I am perfectly healthy in the midst of everybody else being down now. You know?
Yeah, you can't summarize and categorize everybody into this one group of people to say, well, COVID's going to do you the same way. Don't be like your cousin because it can happen to you.
And
we don't know that.
Yeah, and they're all experiencing different symptoms. You know, it's really weird. So it doesn't affect them, even within my own household.
Differently.
Absolutely.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I stay kind of quiet about it. I don't discuss anything. I don't tell people what they should and should not do because it does. It affects everybody so differently. So.
All right. So you guys have been watching another episode of the Unframe of Mind show. I've been your host, Daniel Wagner.
Anthony Trewick.
And if you have a similar story like this and would like to come on and talk to us about it, please reach out to us on our website on the contact form. Let us know. I'd love to hear other people's stories and you know, trials, tribulations, things that are not so much on the COVID front, but more so on like how is your family handling it? How are they handling the situation when it gets right down to the wire?
Yeah.
Like, are they the kind of people that are just now reaching out and making sure everybody's okay, or is, you know, I'd like to know. So anyway, you guys have been watching the show. We're gonna cut. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.